So, Andrew, I'd like to talk about the first-time buyer and
Mm.
their journey today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, speaking on freight demand, I mean, I'm from California, so driving up and down the freeway all the time, you see trucks everywhere, and almost every single one you see is asking for drivers, whether that's the company driver or the owner operator. And as Zach was saying, transitioning from a company driver to an owner operator is a big step, but it's a logical step for many people that are comfortable, have a few years of CDL under their belts.
So what? Okay, so let's play it out, right? Let's say I've been driving for a mid to large size fleet for a couple of years. I already have my CDL.
Okay.
And I've been driving for maybe, let's call it, just under 5 years. And now I'm thinking, now's the time. I want to go out on my own. I want to take that chance. So what do I have to do? So where do I go? Do I buy the truck first? Do I buy the truck? What should my initial thoughts be?
The first thought should be planning. A lot of people, they see dollar signs, right? As a company driver, you're making X. As an owner operator, you're making 2.5 to 3X, which is great. It's fantastic. But with that comes all of the scheduling, all the overhead, all the expenses that typically your carrier pays for. So you need to think about, you need to lease or buy a truck. You need to book your own loads. Maybe you need to get hooked up with a freight brokerage. Maybe you're just converting and driving for your current fleet. There's just a lot of different scenarios that can come up. But number one is just really plan it out. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on, is that planning stage and the scariness of it.
And because that's it, right? You sit down, you pull out a piece of paper, and all of a sudden, those numbers start to look maybe a little bit differently on paper than you would have anticipated in your head.
Right, right.
So let's pretend, for argument's sake, we're in a more normal market.
Okay.
What do you recommend? Do you recommend they buy a new vehicle, or do you recommend, if they're going to buy, or do you recommend that they buy something used?
If they're going to be a first-time buyer, I always, or typically always recommend that they buy something used. I mean, nothing, you have to think as an owner operator that this truck is going to be your single source of income. And on the lending side, that's also why you are potentially more risky, because if that truck goes down, your ability to repay is significantly affected. So, like, buying brand new is great if you have the cash and the credit to do it, but most normal people do not.
Right.
So getting a used truck, 200, 300, 400,000 miles within 5 model years, that's typically how I guide people on this journey.